Hello and welcome to another Raggy's beer review on a bloody wet day. Well, certainly the first few hours anyway, till about 11 o'clock, half 11. Then it got better, although it took all day to warm up and get warmer. So anyway, we're off to Hucknall-based Lincoln Green Brewing for a beer called Quarterstaff. It's described as roasted malt, licorice, blackcurrant, and it's a stout. 5% ABV. It does say something on the back, and we'll read what it says. Stout of heart and nature, a rich, full-bodied stout with flake barley and generous blackcurrant hop bitterness. So let's see how it cooks. Ooh. Some Wazik's banging on some metal at this time of night. So, first beer of the day, and until my homebrew gets sorted, one of two only beers. Well, it might even be three, but yeah, and I ain't got no big strong beers, so I really am scraping the proverbial bottom of the ABV barrel. Thank God I've got something that's at 5% and not low ABVs, because I'd just cry if you just get up. I don't think I'd bother. But anyway. So, a black pour, a centimetre of a slightly off-white head. Roasted malt, I can definitely smell the blackcurrant though. I could smell the blackcurrant when I poured it in, and then the roasted malt's there. I wish they'd shut that bloody noise up. Only just started as well. It's like gone 6 and you start prattling about with metal. Looks like somebody's putting some sort of metal structure onto their house. Yeah, I wonder if the council know. Planning. Nice licorice flowing through. I have had this over at the Robin Hood and Little John pub in Arnold. Went there at the weekend. For the first time I went in, it was all, whether I went in on the wrong day, but it was all Lincoln Green and Everard's beers. And there was one beer from somebody else. And on 20 ampoules, I've never seen that before. It was Lincoln Green and, yeah, like I say, Everard's. And across, there was 19 ampoules, and all but one was not on. So 18 ampoules of just either Lincoln Green or Everard's. It is an Everard's owned building, but Lincoln Green lease it. And yeah, I know Everard's invested money in the past, in this year, which was great because it's really made a fantastic upper level seating area. Certainly in the summer months. I don't think I'd want to be up there in the winter. I don't think I'd want to walk them steps in the winter, especially when you're coming down when you've had a drink. But hold on tight. But the extra seating area is amazing. I think they call it a snug. I'm not sure. It's where the old toilets used to be. It's actually a really nice area to sit, because it's out of the way of both the main bars, although in between the toilets. That's why there's no whiffs from the toilets. Could you imagine? Oh dear. Yeah. I would assume that's already been fought and dealt with, but you do get it sometimes. Where was I the other week? I was in Bearhead's Lincoln, and we were sat near the toilets, and all of a sudden somebody went to the toilet to come out, and they got that unmistakable whiff of some sort of bloody disinfectant-y smell, and it's like, oh. And yeah, but anyway, yeah. So a lot of Everard's, and obviously, if Everard's have invested, I can understand why, but it's interesting. And for the first time, we actually didn't have a second round in the pub. We had one round, and we left to go to a different pub, and usually we'd stop in there for a few hours because, you know, there's always a good range of beer. I mean, the Everard stuff was new to me, but I just didn't fancy any of it. But we all get days like that where you walk into a pub and you look at the beer, you think, you know, you just say, no, I don't fancy it. And are we at a stage now with beer drinking where we're always looking for something new? It begs that question. Breweries have core beers. Lincoln Green certainly do. They have Marion, Hood, Tuck, and Archer. 4 good beers, don't get me wrong. They are cracking beers. But is there a stage where the core beers are taking up space where a rotating beer could go? That's going to upset people up and down the country for different breweries. But, you know, it's an interesting question. And obviously, the pub itself is an amazing pub. You know, let's not offend no one straight away. It's a conversation starter. I absolutely love the Robin Hood Little John. Been going in there since 2014 when I worked at Sainsbury's, when it opened, basically. Me and my good friends Marie, Lee, and Nicola, and Simon all went in there. If anything, and we had Tuck, Buttermilk. So, like I say, you know, do core beers and having having beers replicated on both sides of the bar. I'm not sure if one cask feeds 2 pumps, and that way you get him through the casks. I understand if that's the case. I understand that. I don't know the cellar, so could you, you know, if a 1 cask is feeding both sides of the bar, can that be done? I would assume it could be, but I've not seen the cellar, so I don't know. But would you lose too much beer doing that? Because obviously you've got so much beer going in the line. If you've got 2 lines, then you've got twice the amount of beer to lose whenever you change that beer. Albeit, you're putting the same beer on again, and you're not really losing, are you? But it's interesting. It's an interesting conversation point. It might have just been the day I went, and I didn't really fancy Everard's, to be honest. But obviously, that's my opinion, and at the time. In any case, let's get on to this. Oh, I've just done a normal 8-hour day. Well, it's always longer than 8 hours. And then 2 hours, 2.5 hours in next door's garden, and then drove back. So literally the day started at 7:15 and finished at 6 o'clock, 10:06 it finished. I just got home for 5 minutes before the wife took my son out. So yeah, it's been a long day. That's the second long day. More long days coming. But winter's coming, and as a gardener, you know, sometimes you've got to get the pennies when you can, because in the winter months, a lot of people don't want their gardens touched in the winter months, which is really strange, because as a gardener, working on parks, I know that there's just as much work in the winter as there is in the summer. In fact, if you do your prep in the winter good enough, it makes spring and summer much easier, for the most part at least. But anyway, going back to a normal beer review. But it's nice to put and I'm not just talking Lincoln Green pubs, I'm talking all pubs. And beer, where they've got a core range on the bar, It's an interesting thing, and obviously the core range may be for the likes of that blackcurrant really lasts long on the back end, really lasts long. Is it the core range that actually are the biggest sellers? Now, if that's the case, then you can understand, and you're not going to touch it, because if the majority of people who come in initially want the core range beers and are not interested in the other beers, then that totally validates. And the best people who know this are Lincoln Green and the Robin Hood. I've always wondered, when it comes to pubs and being a brewery pub, how much free reign does one have over choosing the beers, choosing the breweries to get the beers from? Is there a thing where, certain breweries are always coming on the bar? Or is this thing where, if you own your own pub, if I owned my own pub, I would have a never-ending change of beers. But beers that sell super well, I would introduce back regularly. But I'd always be looking for something different as well. It's interesting. I am interested in the dynamics of what makes you want to have your beers, the beers as they are. Or is it just the fact that I've had a long day at work and I just need a chat? It might be that. Yes, there's nothing more annoying than it chucking down with rain, and it absolutely belted it down this morning. I walks into the kitchen at work, and there's bacon. I could see that people have got bacon cobs. At no point did anybody offer me or say there's a bacon cob in there for you. Not one point. A fellow workmate came in, work colleague, and I'll guarantee that the bacon cob that was sat on the shelf was actually for her, and I was totally ignored. And that really, really, not only did it wind me up, but it upset me. It's like, we're a team. And it's not the first time. It happened the other week. A colleague went to McDonald's, and they all sat down chuffing around their McDonald's. Did I get asked if I wanted the McDonald's? No. And it just seems to be this little equation that goes off. And it's disappointing. I'm the one working out in the pouring rain. They all sat inside. And I nearly blew today. And there's a conversation coming with either the owner of the company or the manager at my nearest workplace, and I'm just gonna vent a little bit, off camera sort of thing, but vent, and just put my little thoughts into the bubble, and because there's a moment where you think to yourself, so we all play the team thing, and if we all don't do our work in any job, if we don't do our work, then the team fails. But when the team aren't playing as a team, they'll say hello to you, make a coffee, never make you a coffee, never do certain things. So today they all had a nice bacon sandwich, and then they all had a meal because there was a thing in today. At no stage again, I was there. I went in for a coffee. I was sat outside having my coffee. At no stage did someone say to me, there's food in there, or there's going to be food in there. And that, again, is really disappointing. And the people that are on, I'm kind of, these things go in. I mean, I suppose this is in any job, in any family. These things go into your little marker book, and this is how things break down, and how relationships deteriorate because of little things like that. And it's the smallest of things, you know. And we're all different. And, yeah. In any case, right. I'll let it breathe. I've had a whinge. I've queried things. It's been a very different review, and the beer itself is absolutely cracking. I had it at the Robin Hood and Little John on cask. Tasted amazing, as they always do on cask. You won't get a better cask beer pub than that pub. And obviously, to most people who watch these beer reviews, apart from anybody who actually lives in Nottingham or actually goes to that pub, you won't. Most of what I've probably said is like, what's that? Don't know, not interested. But the workings of a pub are interesting. The workings of a brewery are interesting. The reason behind they choose to brew what beers are interesting. Certainly from a beer reviewer point of view, a beer drinker point of view. I mean, in some ways, I always wondered why a lot of pubs stick to like lower ABV beers. And the fact of the matter is that your 4 to 5% beers are the ones that sell the most. Because there are a hell of a lot of people out there who won't drink above a certain ABV. Whereas I'll look at something that's 5% and think to myself, where's the strong stuff? Being me. Other people will look at 5%, oh, I'm not touching that, it's 5%. And it is, it's interesting to, you know, obviously we all have our own, what we drink, what we like to drink and all that. And it is interesting, you know. So, a review with bags of different things, isn't that the thing for reviews, eh? We don't want these 3-minute bish bash bosh reviews. We want a review with something more to it that asks questions back. Is that not the best thing? And at least I'm not reviewing the little Oktoberfest box, which every other flipping beer reviewer is reviewing. I feel like making a parody of it. I'm surprised that there's so many views. I've looked at some of the views at some of the reviewers, only a quick scan, and I'm surprised for something that hasn't been super widely available that it actually got that many. A lot of it got that many reviews, unless it's the beers themselves inside, which is, you know, the German beers, so the good beers anyway. £2 a beer, yeah, I think it's a decent offer in the end. Couldn't get it anyway, so no point me worrying about it. In any case, we ain't talking that. We're on Lincoln Green. So, good to see these modern traditional beers coming back into bottle. I did wonder when the Black Shell canned craft beer stuff came out, whether we'd see an end to the bottled modern traditional stuff. I've no idea if these are bottled at the brewery, as in life. You know, literally don't talk to any breweries anymore because I'm too bloody busy myself doing stuff. Unless they talk to me. Yeah, the canned stuff on the Black Shelves, I've not seen anything new. Now, is that because Adventure Beer, who I do keep an eye out on now and again, and even there, I basically, literally because of the fact that life is so crazy busy. And as you can see, if you've been watching the channel, I've gone from doing like 8-hour days to 11, 12-hour days, and life just that the amount of time to do like lives just is gone. You know, there's only so many hours in a day, and by the time you get home, that's it. You sat on the settee, poof, it's bedtime, and yeah, all on winter. Yeah, I need to get brewing a lot more beer for the winter months. Yeah, I feel a lot of homebrew stuff coming on the channel. Yeah, and more lives via that as well, because for me, that's my number one way of doing lives, from homebrew, not actually from doing beer reviews. Because the only problem with beer reviews is homebrew's a hell of a lot cheaper. 50 pence a pint, woof. I mean, I support breweries and pubs a hell of a lot. I do as well. You know, as a hobby, if you're looking at anything between £50 to £100 a week, going to a pub or sometimes buying beers as well, it's a big hobby. Probably more than a hell of a lot of people spend. I would assume anyway. Not that I know what people spend on beer, but it's a good hobby. I like what I do. Anyway, right, 21 minutes in. This is a proper, like an old-fashioned raggy beer review. It's one of them with everything in it. Bit of whinging because, you know, but a nice blend of roasted malts, licorice, certainly blackcurrant. And the blackcurrant lasts for ages. The roasted malt and licorice is certainly more at the front end for me. And the blackcurrant, you can smell it, and it comes round the back. It's quite interesting. Blackcurrant in a stout. And if anybody from Lincoln Green is actually watching this and still watching it, I absolutely love the tuck berry, and I feel that tuck is very interesting, not only for different versions of tuck, a plummy tuck plums. Well, you've got to be careful what you yeah, you've got to be careful what you name some stuff. Yeah. I'm not going down that road. Tuck cherry, yeah, tuck cherry. But yeah, you see where I'm going. But then you've got double tuck, imperial tuck for the black shale, because the actual base beer is a stunning beer, and variations of that theme. It's what other breweries are doing anyway. But it's, I mean, obviously, Lincoln Green have done tuck Vimto before, which is different, shall we say. It's nice, but different. But yeah, it's interesting. And Lincoln Green, out of a lot of breweries, do some really random beers that you just don't get from other breweries. Bowes Black and Tan, I absolutely love that beer. And you know, over the years, they brought out so many beers. Reminiscing there, doing a bit of reminiscing of Lincoln Green of old, and I'm not even sure if a lot of these beers are still available. There was Fire Damp, the 8.5%. I actually really love that beer as well. So, true long beer review tonight. I've got to try and upload this bugger and all, so that will take about 5 hours. Got the crappiest internet connection. Will I drink it again? Yes. Is it worth trying on cask and in bottle? Hell yes. A good 4.4 out of 5. And now I'm going to go up the house, I'm going to sit on the settee, and I'm going to chill because I'm absolutely knackered. Cheers all.